and then, but this is a completely different way of training.
But I think it should also be frank that these kind of like top cloud providers, they have an amazing service. I mean, they are self-service to a large extent. You can actually get started very, very quickly, very, very easily. Awesome documentation, awesome, support and everything, which is hard to compete with. But as you say, the problem with them is that it becomes really, really expensive when you actually start to scale something up. So
but it's like we discussed with the chips, right? That you have this ecosystem of support and services, which is really great. Yeah. It comes at a cost. And that cost is a no-brainer at a smaller scale because you can't afford to have all of this stuff in-house. Right. But at some point, if you're training really, really large models, or if you're using a lot of GPUs and CPUs per hours,
or if you want to in the future, if you have an idea how to scale up, if we only had so much more compute, what could we do then? And then HPC becomes a factor. Yeah,
we've been discussing with some SMEs who are like, if we had that, we could do all of these things that we've just discarded for now because it's completely economically unfeasible to do it.
Right. Can you elaborate a bit more? Do you have some example, perhaps, businesses or projects that you are focusing on, or what would like the stereotypical favorite kind of SME be that should contact, EN, CCS and hear more about their potential?
We've been focusing a lot on AI SMEs lately through
on AI?
AI SMEs and startups.
Yes.
Through Ingrid's connections and her great work over the summer, and it's been super interesting to get to talk to these people. And
when you say SMEs, how large type of company are you speaking about?
I mean, we use the European definition because that's what we have to adhere to in our work. I mean, we can do certain work with SMEs, which for free, and the proof of concept projects are restricted to SMEs. And the definition is, the European one is up to, 300 people or something? 250. Which is
employees, right?
Employees, yes. I think there's a number on the total turnover or something as well. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, you can still access these resources as a larger company as well, but the terms might differ slightly.
Yeah. And SMEs have other exceptions too, just to take that detour. So, I mean, we're supposed to focus on the SMEs, and that's what we want to do because that's where we can make the most impact. The big company can do their own thing. They can buy own hardware or what they need. SMEs can't. So there are these exceptions. We can support them extra much, and they also can get exceptions to the open science requirement for EuroHPC access.
Okay, so there is otherwise an open science, basically an open source license saying that the science should be open for them to use it? Or
well, it's not so precise as to specify, that everything should be open source. But there's like explicitly written somewhere that work done on EuroHPC should be as open as possible, but as closed as needed. And that in particular for SMEs, you can...
and but it literally says, like, you might need to sort of loosen the requirement on open science if it's in the interest of the beneficiaries being the company who's using the resources. And they're also exemplifying that this could be, for example, for competitive reasons or data privacy reasons or stuff like that. So it's not that you have to publish everything you do, but I think the general thing is that we're giving you resources. It's good to know what they're used for. And if there are any learnings that can be shared in the wider community.
Just to have some company out there, be identifying with, this is something that could be useful for me.
Yeah, I didn't finish the story about the types of companies we worked with. I mean, we had contacts with companies in the past, many of them, some big companies and some smaller companies. There were already AI companies we spoke with 2 years ago, before the LLM hype and everything. There was a company doing speech synthesis, text-to-speech. Another one doing battery inspection with computer vision. And they used successfully EuroHPC with our help. But there were many companies as well doing the traditional HPC domains like computational fluid dynamics and electronic structure calculations, molecular dynamics, biomolecules.